Welcome to this explainer. I want you to just take a second and imagine, if you will, sitting by a rain-streaked window overlooking a dense green forest. Beside you, a cup of tea steams quietly next to the soft hum of your laptop. It's a peaceful scene, right? But just beneath the surface of our modern lives, there's this quiet friction brewing. Today, we're really going to explore that friction. It's this deeply personal, kind of bittersweet tension between human nature and, well, what we might call the digital fog. We're looking at a profound shift happening right now. A defensive human autonomy in an age where the quiet machinery running in the background is increasingly trying to smooth out all of our rough edges. Okay, let's dive into this.
I actually want to start by looking back a few years, to a moment that feels, well, more relevant now than ever. Consider this incredibly poignant quote from Studio Ghibli co-founder Hayao Miyazaki. Back in 2016, a group of researchers enthusiastically showed him a demo of an AI tool, and it was designed to draw pictures just like a human. His response? It was completely visceral. He flat out called it an awful insult to life. He instinctively rejected the idea of a machine trying to mimic the beautiful, painstaking, and ultimately imperfect act of human creation. He saw really early on that removing the human struggle from art literally removes its soul.
And that brings us to the absolute core of what we're facing today, the creeping digital fog. You know, this isn't some science fiction movie with robots chasing us down the street. It's much softer, much quieter. It's the subtle ways that artificial intelligence is just seeping into our daily lives. Making things endlessly efficient, sure, but slowly starving our minds of thoughtfulness. Scholars are now deeply concerned about human autonomy. They're asking if our sheer preference for optimization is actually going to replace human-like traits with machine-like ones, just quietly eroding our free will and authentic connection. This academic warning we're seeing right now is beautifully illustrated by a really simple example. Imagine using generative AI to write a letter of apology to a parent. You type in a prompt, and out pops a perfectly structured, grammatically flawless letter. But it is an apology without a soul. By delegating that deeply personal task to the digital fog, we completely strip away the genuine emotion, the difficult process of reflection, and the authenticity that actually makes the gesture meaningful in the first place. Automation simply cannot replace the human touch. It just can't. Part 1. The friction. The heavy toll of the cloud.
So let's pull back the curtain and look at the physical reality behind this digital fog. Because the cloud isn't actually a cloud at all. We often think of algorithms as existing in some invisible digital ether, right? But in reality, they require massive, glowing data centers that are directly encroaching on our physical Earth. We're essentially trading the quiet, natural resources of our local communities, our trees, our local water supplies, our aging energy grids, and we're doing it to feed the insatiable industrial appetite of artificial intelligence. It's a heavy toll, extracted directly from the physical world to fuel an artificial one.
I just want to pause right here and let this number sink in. 3. Just 3. It takes up to 3 bottles of local community water just to cool the servers enough to generate a mere 100 words of text. That is 3 bottles of water for a single paragraph of AI-generated content. Crazy, right? When we talk about the friction between nature and technology, this is exactly what it looks like. It's the stark reality of an algorithm literally drinking from the exact same water supply as your neighborhood. And this physical and spiritual friction is causing a massive cultural awakening. In a recent, deeply considered letter, Pope Leo XIV grounded this crisis in a moral context. He wrote that in an era where human dignity is threatened by new forms of dehumanization, ours is the pressing duty to remain profoundly human. The truest response to this resource-hungry machinery isn't just to, optimize better. It's to deliberately safeguard our human dignity and our connection to the earth. If you're someone who still believes in the beauty of a handwritten letter, the charm of an imperfect brushstroke, and the absolute necessity of preserving our physical earth over an artificial cloud, I warmly invite you to subscribe to this channel. Join our quiet community of thoughtful learners who are fighting to keep our human agency intact. We would really love to have you sitting by the window with us. Part 2. The landscape. The architecture of conformity. As we shift our gaze to the landscape we're all currently navigating, we start to see how these invisible gears are actively forcing our culture into a mold. You might have heard of SEO, but now we have GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. And GEO isn't just a corporate marketing strategy, it is the quiet machinery demanding conformity. It dictates that to be seen by the AI search engines, human writing literally must be chopped into scannable lists, short paragraphs, and stripped of all its nuance. It's an architecture of conformity, forcing creators to smooth out their unique human voices just so the machine can easily digest their knowledge.
But humans naturally resist being put into boxes, don't we? The pushback has already begun with the Anti-Slop rebellion. More than 1,000 musicians, including absolute legends like Kate Bush and Damon Albarn, have released a silent protest album. They are literally recording empty studios. And this isn't merely a legal copyright dispute. No way. It's a desperate, incredibly powerful defense of the human spirit. They are flat out refusing to let their lifetimes of messy, beautiful human work be ingested and regurgitated by the machine as perfectly uniform slop.
If you feel overwhelmed living in a landscape saturated with manufactured, soulless content, trust me, you are not alone. As one article noted, it feels like this algorithmic perfection is being rammed down our throats by invisible gears. It is completely natural to feel an anxious friction when everything around you suddenly looks mathematically perfect but feels entirely empty.
Part 3. The garden. The beauty of the brushstroke.
But here is where we shift from anxiety to profound hope. Out of this sterile digital fog, a beautiful, quiet resistance is blooming. To combat the machine, we're actually reaching back to ancient wisdom. The Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi is going mainstream. It's the practice of finding deep beauty in imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness. As digital fatigue intensifies, this quiet philosophy has really become a vital psychological antidote for us. We're craving the irregular glaze on a tea bowl, or the wandering line of a sketch, simply because it proves that a human hand was there.
There's a very clear contrast we are now seeing in the creative world. AI-generated design is fast, it's cheap, it's uniform, and ultimately, it's disposable. But human-crafted design, it's slow, it's unique, it's deeply precious, and most importantly, it is authentically flawed. Perfection signals mass production now. Imperfection, that signals authenticity. This philosophy is building into an actual economic shift, what analysts are now calling the $50 million handmade rebellion. It's the economics of visible labor. Here's how it works. Step 1. AI makes perfection infinite and cheap. Because the machine can generate it endlessly, perfection completely loses its value. Step 2. The human hand, the analog process, becomes incredibly rare and scarce. And step 3. Visible effort becomes our absolute most valuable asset. The market is now heavily rewarding the undeniable proof that a human being actually cared enough to leave their mark.
And what do those marks look like? Well, they're the beautiful signs of human life. It's the tape marks and paper tears left on a collage. It's the wandering brushstrokes that slightly miss their mark. It's the grainy, candid texture of 35mm film. It's a writer deliberately choosing to accept the unknown rather than asking an AI to hallucinate a perfect fake answer. These joyful mistakes in analog textures are the deliberate friction that an algorithm simply cannot authentically replicate.
Which leaves us with a final, provocative thought to take with you as you finish your tea and look out the window. When machines can generate infinite perfection at scale, what is the value of your imperfection? I really want you to see your own human flaws, your hesitations, your analog realities, not as weaknesses to be optimized away, but as your most precious, irreplaceable assets. It is your friction that makes you real. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Stay curious, stay human, and I'll see you in the next Explain.